All of the makings of a fantastic game come from these aspects. Good graphics, fun gameplay, epic music, true realism, and most importantly, functional multiplayer. And none other this year has exemplified a great game than Helldivers 2. Dropping in hot, the game is an instant hit filled with a variety of missions, worlds, weapons, and even bigger weapons. Everything feels fresh due to how fundamentally grounded and different the game is, from its shooting to its controls, movement, and live service. And the game also has great satire because it's really funny, especially with the ragdoll and the friendly fire. Satire just means it's funny, right? Like, American Psycho was called satire, and that was pretty funny. Love Bateman, by the way. Super cool and funny dude. He'd make a great soldier. After the drought from last year, it's great to finally play a fun game again. Like, 2023 was one of the worst years for games. 2K was trash that year, COD was trash, FIFA didn't even exist that year. Like, I've been looking for FIFA 24 and nothing came up, just some knockoff game. And the drought is still ongoing, man. It was especially worse if you made games because you just get fired, obviously from being lazy. But these guys aren't lazy with how realistic and detailed Helldivers is. For example, you can shoot the limbs off of these freaks and watch as they cripple on over. Almost makes you feel bad for them. And as you shred them up into a green pulp, your gun will sway based on how heavy and powerful it is. These are details you don't get in many other games, especially in how the environment slows you down, or how acid slows you down, or getting injured slows you down. Even the movement is great. It's just like Metal Gear Solid 5, my favorite apolitical game. And speaking of, I'm tired of all these people trying to put politics into everything. Games are just supposed to be dumb, fun escapism, and that's it. No lesson should be learned. This isn't school or art. What, even if unintended, do people magically, subconsciously impose their beliefs into their creations? Well, guess what? I'll say this video is apolitical to prove that wrong. What are you gonna do now? And I hate it when people say that this game is fascist when it's clearly not. I know what fascism is, but just in case you don't, I'm going to look it up. Fascism. Alright, now I'm going to look for a definition I like. Here, copy and paste it from Wikipedia like any good YouTuber. Fascism is a far-right, authoritarian, ultra-nationalist political ideology and movement, characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation or race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy. Alright, well, it can't be this first part since it isn't political. And ultra-nationalist, the only nation is Super Earth. Sure, there's a bunch of propaganda and ads that tell you to join the fight, kill the enemy, report thought crimes, but I don't pay attention to that. I want to play the game, not sit around and watch ads all day, unless I'm watching YouTube. Actually, I watched a whole Chilean podcast of Star Wars where they advertised beer. That's pretty funny. A dictator and autocracy, well, it's a democracy. They always have the word managed in front of it, but it's democracy. Instead of choosing a person to elect, you just take a personality test and the voting machine chooses someone for you. It's great. Actually, no, there is a dictator, and his name is Joel, a developer that's controlling everything behind the scenes like Chancellor Palpatine. Military force and a natural hierarchy. Well, okay, yeah, of course they have a big military because they gotta kill these bugs and bots and protect the galaxy. Can't forget about that. It's not racist. Those guys can't be reasoned with because they're inferior, so the only way is violence. Subordination for the good of the nation. Well, other than the uniforms, there's nothing that indicates that. People against the good of the nation, or dissidents, should be punished anyways. Regimentation of society and economy. Well, the military needs people and funding, so they kind of have to make a whole culture and industry based on war. Like, it'd be a huge waste if you spend all this tax money on a military with nothing to protect. Alright, the game kind of matches everything about fascism. But look, it came from Italy and Germany, so it seems more like a European thing. And Super Earth is not European, it's American. First of all, you got clean streets, so that's something. You got suburbs, you got cars, you got black people, you got their best friends to please, keeping everyone safe. You don't see that in Europe. On Super Earth, there are no dystopian walkable cities and definitely no kilometers. Driving is fun and great. It's so great, I'd rather spend 10 minutes just leaving the suburbs than to spend 10 minutes walking to the market. Gross. And spending money on fuel is worth it because you get to huff some gasoline every time. Super Earth is a perfect halcyon utopia reminiscent of post-World War II America. You know, the good old days. And Super Earth is clearly American because they use American words like freedom, liberty, jingoism, and democracy. If Americans weren't so cool, then why do we have a Swedish developer and a Japanese company hyping us up? America is like the most important and powerful place on Earth, so it made sense that we would take over the entire world and even galaxy. And there's nothing more American than taking what's rightfully ours. By the way, unrelated, but I did not like Killers of the Flower Moon. It was too boring and too sad. Like, why does every movie about Native Americans have to be so depressing? They can be happy and historically accurate, like Pocahontas. I mean, I was on my phone and switched the entire time in the theater, but it didn't make the movie any more fun. Super unrealistic too. Like, how are you gonna love your wife and then take everything from her? Like, nobody does that in real life. Oh, same thing with Oppenheimer. Too boring, and it doesn't even show how the bomb was actually necessary to save thousands of people. That is, thousands of American soldiers versus innocent Japanese civilians. Yeah, I was disappointed with Nolan. There wasn't an epic scene where you see the bomb and a bunch of Japanese people melt. Well, I can say that. I'm also Korean. It's their fault for making imperialism look bad. Yeah, and the movie was too science-y. Despite being Asian, I was never good at math. Like, what the heck does this even mean? When is this ever relevant? Yeah, so Helldivers can't be fascist because it's American. And America can never be fascist because of our freedom. Everyone is free. There is no oppression in America. Our Constitution guarantees our freedom, so our rights can't be taken away from us. Except for that one time when alcohol was banned. That was like the most oppressive moment in American history. Or banning our God-given right to enjoy a cold one behind the steering wheel.
We're making it laws where you can't drink when you want to. You have to wear a seatbelt when you're driving. And pretty soon we're going to be communist country.
And now they're going to ban TikTok? So what, I can't have any fun while driving? Actually, no, it's a good thing. Can't let the Chinese poison our youth with their propaganda and spread misinformation, as well as spy on us and sell our private data. Only American companies get to do that. In a good way. The new bill also sets the precedent to ban apps that are seen as a foreign threat, so look out Genshin Impact, you're next. Regardless of America's past or future, we'll never be like those idiots over in Germany and Italy and let one charming dude just show up and sway us into violence through their passionate speech, under the promise of leading us to the good old days or some paradise. Unrelated, but I also just saw Dune Part 2, which I actually loved. You know, the critics can be right sometimes on what's good. I just can't forgive them for saying that the Mario movie and the FNAF film was bad. The reason why I love the movie is because it was just a simple hero's journey, none of that complicated subtext stuff, and definitely no politics. I mean, even Dune got me believing in the Lisanne al-Gaib. Loved Paul, especially in the end, he was super cool. Can't wait to see him spread peace across the galaxy in Dune Messiah, just like the Helldivers. And spreading peace we are against the Terminids and the Automatons. We can never allow them to travel all the way across the galaxy and invade our home. There's this ridiculous conspiracy in the game where the Terminid invasion is some kind of inside job. Good thing we shut that propaganda down like TikTok.
Liberty emerges victorious yet again.
And we can never let these socialist robots threaten our managed democracy. Now that got me saying that. According to the lore, it's actually beneficial to kill these guys because the bugs are a great source of oil, which fixes the energy crisis that still exists in the far future. And the bots are a great resource for the voting machines back on Super Earth, so what greater irony is there than to have these communists power democracy? Kind of unfortunate that both of these factions coincidentally started attacking Super Earth at the same time. Wonder how that happened. I mean, there's no reason to question it since we always play as the good guys in video games, like Spider-Man, Cloud, Master Chief, Kratos, the guy from Spec Ops: The Line, Joel Miller, NieR, and the duck from Entitled Goose Game. And you know who else is always the good guys? Americans. Does this guy look capable of any evil? Didn't think so. Another tangent, but I also just saw the zone of interest, or should I say the zone of boredom. I started watching a bunch of Oscar films since they're supposed to be the best of the year, but as always, they choose the most boring movies of the year. It's supposed to be about the Commandant of Auschwitz, so I expected some evil mustache-twirling guy who laughs maniacally while cutting innocent people down with a chainsaw or something, you know? Like, that's pure evil right there. But no, it was just some dude no different from my own boss. He was just a guy providing for his family on his 9 to 5, going to business meetings, and working for a promotion. The movie makes evil look boring, and that's so lame and unrealistic. Evil people are supposed to be crazy and have a scar across their eye or something and have a name like Kommandant Kinderschlechter. It's like saying that anyone can be evil or get wrapped up in it, which couldn't be true for the Helldivers. And with how cool and good these guys are, I'm a bit disappointed with how bad the tutorial is. These guys are supposed to be an elite, skilled squadron, but the tutorial does nothing to prepare you for the actual war. So when we play, the soldiers look expendable, incompetent, and uncoordinated. The first thing I found odd was the loading screen, how it said that the average recruits were 18 years old. How can they be elite when anyone can join fresh out of high school? They're practically letting babies die for the country before they can even drink. Although I guess even in the far future, they're used to dodging bullets, so they'll be fine. It's also dumb in how it constantly hypes me up for doing the most basic things.
I've never seen such flawless terminal activation.
And they don't even train you in teamwork. It's almost the opposite, where they're like, yeah, just call in a new friend. Also, I accidentally died and found out that there are no respawns. Instead, you play as some other person with a different voice, and this applies to the rest of the game. And in the end, it shows a bunch of soldiers in pods getting shipped off to the war after like 5 minutes of training. So much for being elite. It just makes the military seem bloated, with a budget so big they're able to mass produce these military-grade weapons, armors, and capes. They even got enough fireworks to make Disneyland blush. And even with this massive military, with all of these weapons, stratagems, and equipment, we still lost Malevelon Creek? They really gotta rebalance this game, because how does that even happen? That's as unrealistic as the US military losing to a bunch of farmers, or a bunch of teddy bears defeating the Galactic Empire like my favorite non-political franchise, Star Wars. But this game isn't Star Wars, it's Starship Troopers, my favorite non-political action film. See, critics don't know nothing. They didn't even know it was a satire. Guess it wasn't funny enough for them. Fun fact, the film actually made me want to enlist into the infantry. I didn't have a real reason, but the film made it seem cool. Sadly, I was rejected because I scored too high on their test, even for them, whatever that means. They said that I would know better, and that's dangerous for them. Okay. I also heard Starship Troopers was based off a novel, so I guess that makes it my favorite book as well. I really don't read though. I haven't even read the book my boss secretly gave to me. I guess let me know if My Struggle is any good. Apparently it's a German book by some artist, which was translated by some Argentinian dude, which was then translated into English. Anyways, I don't believe Starship Troopers is fascist either. It's just a simple, cool, and funny action film. Another thing that likens Helldivers to America is its chauvinist community, which basically means a loyal and chill fanbase, all rallied by the game's real-time war, where each victory and failure makes a difference in the story. And if we don't do our part, millions of innocent digital people and digital babies will die. Also, if we lose the war, the game will use this anti-cheat to delete your computer. Yeah, I'm with this guy. I too am smart enough to know about kernels. An unfortunate side effect of this real war is that content updates get delayed by in-game events, like the exosuit factory getting attacked by the automatons. Can't believe they're making us work for new stuff. Guess I'll have to miss Grandpa's funeral again. Of course, the whole community is eager to step into the role of being a Helldiver. They even called in a ceasefire for the console war so that Xbox players can join the fray. Which is actually un-American according to recent news, so screw those Xbox losers. Look at this clown thinking he's the CEO of peace or something. More like the CEO of cringe. Oh wait. I think I've proven my point in how fascist Helldivers is. Which it isn't. All of this stuff is there because it's funny, and that's what makes it a great satire. And regardless, it doesn't stop how fun the game is. The game experience itself isn't oppressive or... let me check my thesaurus. Banal. The game is fundamentally different for all of the right reasons, and that breeds innovation. All of these details help cultivate a massive community instantly. An online game lives and dies by its community, and with a focus on collaboration, it helps to all be on the same page. And that page is knowing that Helldivers isn't fascist and America isn't yet. No wait, that just slipped out, I didn't mean it. Yeah!